Good morning, students. Class 12. Today we are going to do the second chapter, The Tiger King, of our prescribed book, Vistas. Right? For Flamingo, we have already done two. Fine. The last lesson and the Lost Spring, plus the first poem also we have already done. That is My Mother at 66. Okay, and for Vistas, we have already completed the first chapter, that is the third level, for which the Zoom had already been taken. Right, your assignments I have been receiving. So today I have planned to do chapter number 2 with you. The name of the chapter is The Tiger King. It's written by Kalki. Fine, it's an Indian author. Before you read, first go through the prominent question raised in the beginning of the chapter. What is the general attitude of human beings towards wild animals? Okay, please imagine yourself what kind of an attitude we people bear, human beings bear for wild animals. Have we not been killing them for our sport, entertainment? Have we not used them for our entertainment and kept them in the zoos? Have we not taken them on the brink of extinction by taking away their habitat and so on? Okay, so these are the questions that may arise in your mind. So let's begin with the story. It's a humorous story in a way. It has humor, satire, and irony imbibed into the chapter, embedded into it. What is humor? Humor means something which gives you the reason to laugh, which results into some humorous situation, funny. What is satire? Satire is an indirect comment upon a person, system, or a society. Indirectly commenting upon someone is a satirical comment, is a satire. What is irony? Irony is also a figurative device. It means irony means showing something, but the real intended meaning, the hidden meaning, is something else, right? Apparently you want to show something, but behind it is a deeper meaning hidden, is an ironical situation, is an irony. Okay, so these are the three things you are going to find. These are the three elements that you are going to find in the text here, the Tiger King. Okay, now let's begin with the story. You can still ask me doubts if you have any, dear children, okay, regarding all these three elements that I have spoken about: humor, satire, and irony. Right, how they are used, how they are inherently used in this chapter, I'll keep telling you while I'm teaching you this. Okay, now let's come to the text. The Maharaja of Pratibandampuram is the hero of the story. So who's protagonist? The Maharaja of Pratibandampuram state. He may be identified as His Highness Jamidar General, Khiledar Major, Sata Vyagras Mahiri, Maharaja Dhiraj, Vishwa Bhuvna Smrat, Sir Jilani Jang Jang Bahadur. So these are the titles. These must be the titles showered upon him. Sir Jilani Jang Jang Bahadur, MAD, ACTC, CRCK. So these must be the short names for all these titles given to him. Okay. But this name is often shortened to the Tiger King. Right. So his basic, famous, popular name came to be called as the Tiger King. Right. Why he came to be known as the Tiger King is the story all about. Why his name was famous as the Tiger King, why not his original name or these titles, that were showered upon him, why he was not better known by these names, why he was better known as the Tiger King is the story all about. So this is what the text is going to answer. Now in the beginning of the story you will see a communicative approach on part of the writer. Okay, so he is basically talking to the readers. Fine, he is not simply telling the story for the sake of telling the story. He is trying to establish a kind of a rapport with the audience. Audience is who? The readers, we people. Okay, so here what the writer Kalki says. I have come forward to tell you why he came to be known as the Tiger King. Okay, so writer says, my attempt to narrate this chapter, to tell you this story, is to tell why his name is popularized as the Tiger King. I have no intention of pretending to advance only to end in a strategic withdrawal. Writer says, I have no intention, right? So it was not his intention of pretending. He said, I don't want to pretend. I don't want to show off. To advance only to end in a strategic withdrawal. What is a strategic withdrawal? It's a well-planned ending. He wants to say that my attempt here of telling you the story is not to end the story in a deliberate manner, in a strategic manner, right? It had ended naturally that way. If you feel like it had been a strategic ending, well-planned ending, it had not been so, and I'm not even pretending, okay? Even the threat of a Stuka bomber will not throw me off track. Fine, so even if a bomber comes my way, right, that even a bomber cannot stop me from telling you the story. The Stuka, if it likes, can beat a hasty retreat from the story. Look, okay, if step back has to be taken, the step back will not be taken by me. The step back will be taken by the Stuka, the bomber itself, and not by me. So it is just to make the story a tinge of humor. Right at the start, it is imperative to disclose a matter of vital importance about the Tiger King. And he said, before formally beginning with the chapter, I want to reveal something very important about the Tiger King. Everyone who reads of him will experience the natural desire to meet a man of his indomitable courage face to face. Okay, indomitable means unbeatable courage. One who reads about him, he will naturally see that desire coming into him to see this person face to face. That how can a person be so bold, so courageous, okay? But there is no chance of its fulfillment. But your desire to meet the Tiger King in person cannot be fulfilled. Why? As Bharat said to Ram about Dashratha. Now I am turning to the next page. He said, the author says, as Bharat revealed about Dashratha to Rama, what did he reveal about him? That he is no more. So the same information I want to bring to you. The Tiger King has reached that final abode of all living creatures. Final abode means the final destination. What is every human's final destination? God's house. Okay, so basically the Tiger King is no more. So your desire to meet such an indomitably courageous person cannot be true. In other words, the Tiger King is dead. The manner of his death is a matter of extraordinary interest. And the author says that the way he died, it is going to be a matter of an extraordinary interest. It can be revealed only at the end of the tale. Once again, he wants to say the same thing. If I tell you now how did he die, the whole charm goes. Okay, the story, it's no use spilling the beans right in the beginning of the story. So he said, I only want to tell you how did he die only at the end of the tale. The most fantastic aspect of his demise was that as soon as he was born, astrologers had foretold that one day the Tiger King would actually have to die. Okay, so a prediction was done at the time of his birth. What was foretold? That one day he is going to die. The child will grow up to become the warrior of warriors, hero of heroes, champion of champions. Right? This was the prediction done at the time of his birth, that he is going to be a big hero and a warrior and a champion. But they bit their lips and swallowed hard. They could not continue. Why? Because they had something very bad to tell about him. When compelled to continue, the astrologers came out with it. When he was compelled, the astrologer, that he should speak and he should utter out what had happened. So he said, this is a secret which should not be revealed at all. And yet if we are forced to speak out, okay, fine, I'm going to tell if we are really being forced to tell all these things. Astrologer said the child born under this star will one day have to meet its death. Right? So the person born under this star, sun sign, will one day have to meet its death, will one day have to die. As if it is very unusual. This is going to happen to everyone, to each one of us. Okay. So this is not something to be predicted about. Okay. At that very moment, a great miracle took place. An astonishing phrase emerged from the lips of a 10-day-old Jilani Jang Jang Bahadur. The 10-day-old child started speaking. It was an astonishing incident. Naturally, a 10-day-old child cannot speak. But it being a fiction, we also have to give some space to the writer that, okay, fine, if he wants to make a child of 10-day-old speak, fine, it is allowed to him because it's a fictitious story, it's not a real one. An astonishing phrase emerged from the lips of a 10-day-old Jilani Jang Jang Bahadur. O wise prophets. What did he say? You are wise, no doubt. You are prophets, you are saints, knowledgeable saints. Everyone stood transfixed in stupefaction. Everybody was stupefied. They looked wildly at each other and blinked. They started looking at each other with, astonishing eyes. They blinked at each other. Why? Because they were not able to believe their eyes that how could a 10-day-old child speak? So, how he could, pronounce. O wise prophets, it was I who spoke. Now he took off their doubts by calling them again, by addressing them again and telling them that wise prophets, it was me only who had spoken. This time there were no grounds for doubt. It was the infant born just 10 days ago who had enunciated the words so clearly. Okay, so now there were no doubts left. Naturally, it was the infant only, this kid only, 10-day-old kid, who had enunciated and pronounced the words so very clearly. The chief astrologer took off his spectacles and gazed intently at the baby. He looked at him intently. All those who are born will one day have to die. What was his plea? What did that 10-day-old child say? It is very logical also. Please hear it out. All those who are born will one day have to die. Okay. We don't need your predictions to know that. Naturally, no predictions are required. There would be some sense in it if you could tell us the manner of that death. So the 10-day-old child raised a very prominent and a logical question, asking what could be the manner of his death. The royal infant uttered these words in his little squeaky voice. In his squeaky, shaking voice, he said so. The chief astrologer placed his finger on his nose in wonder. Naturally, he was wonderstruck. He placed his finger on his nose in wonder, thinking, how could a 10-day-old child raise such reasonable and logical questions? A baby barely 10 days old open his lips in speech. Not only that, it also raises intelligent questions. Incredible. Naturally, it is very unbelievable a fact for them. Rather like bulletins issued by War Office than facts. In the War Office, you must have seen in chapter 1, bulletin board was placed where the recent war news is updated. So the author compared this thing to the bulletins. Why? Because bulletins are considered to be the fastest possible thing which updates the news. So he said that in such a hurry, not even the bulletins are being updated the way the Tiger King started speaking, barely a 10-day-old child. The chief astrologer took his finger off his nose and fixed his eyes upon the little prince. He looked him hard, started looking at him. The prince was born in the hour of the bull. So what was the justification given? He said that because you are born in the hour of the bull, Taurus, your sun sign is Taurus, the bull and the tiger are enemies with each other, therefore death comes from a tiger, he explained. And because the reason was asked by the 10-day-old child, and the reason was revealed that tiger is going to become the reason of his death. Right, now I turn to the third page of the text. You may think that Crown Prince Jang Jang Bahadur was thrown into a quake when he heard the word tiger. Right, if you think that he would have been afraid, or he would have felt a quake coming to his life as soon as these words were being spoken, that his death is imminent, his death is coming from a tiger, then you are mistaken, dear children. He was not afraid at all. That was exactly what did not happen. As soon as he heard it pronounced, the crown prince gave a deep growl. He shouted loud. Terrifying words emerged from his lips. Right, very terrifying words he started uttering. He said, let tigers beware. So the tigers instead have to be beware of me. Right, so he said, I'm not going to be laid down. I'm not going to, give up in front of a tiger if this prediction comes that I'm going to die from a tiger, and I'm afraid of it. I'm least afraid. I'm least bothered. I'm so brave. Rather, tigers have to be afraid of me. This account is only a rumor, Raif and Pratibandh. See, naturally, it could only be a rumor. Why? Because a 10-day-old child, you all know, beta, it's not a natural phenomena, cannot speak. Fine, so it is just a rumor which had been spread, a fake news which had been spread in the whole Pratibandhpuram state. But this is the base of our story. Okay, so we have to see it from a different angle. We have to see that yes, something this sort had happened. That is why the story has been narrated. But with hindsight, with other point of view, we may conclude it was based on some truth. Hindsight means with our present substantial things which are in front of us, the situation, we have to justify, we have to see that yes, something of that sort must have happened. Now come to part 2. Crown Prince Jung Bahadur grew taller and stronger day by day. No other miracle marked his childhood days apart from the event already described. Normal childhood he led, no other miracle. Only one miracle happened to him. What was the miracle? That he had spoken when he was barely 10 days old. The boy drank the milk of an English cow. He was brought up by an English nanny because India was, these Pratibandhpuram must have been a princely state. It would have been under the British reign because we had been under British reign during this time when this chapter must have been written. That is why the boy prince, this Tiger King, would have been brought up by an English nanny, was nourished by the milk of an English cow. He must have been tutored by an Englishman only completely, saw nothing but English films. So he was given a typical English upbringing, exactly as the crown princes of the all other Indian states did. When he came at the age of 20, the state which had been with the court of wards until then came into his hands. Right, court of wards means a band of ministers must be running that state, but when he turned 20, he was considered to be responsible enough and he was assigned the duty of being the king of his state. So officially he became the king. But everyone in the kingdom remembered the astrologer's prediction. How can we forget that? What was the prediction? That a tiger is going to become the reason of his death. Many continued to discuss the matter. Slowly it came to Maharaja's ears. He also got to know. He got to hear what? He also got to hear that his death had been predicted by a tiger. There were innumerable forests in Pratibandhpuram state. Innumerable means many in number. They had tigers in them. Maharaja knew the old saying, you may kill even a cow in self-defense. Naturally, being given an English upbringing, he had been given this thinking, he has been given this projection that even killing a cow is not an offense. Why? Had he got an Indian upbringing, he would never have been told to do so. Because in Indian culture and tradition, cows are considered to be our mothers. They are to be revered and respected. But Britishers, they have it, they eat it, beta. That is why, so this kind of projection, this kind of a thinking has been put into him that even killing a cow is okay. So killing a tiger would definitely be not offensive. There could certainly be no objection to killing tiger in self-defense. Maharaja started out on a tiger hunt. What was his attempt? In order to go against that prediction which had once been made. Prediction was that a tiger is going to become the reason of his death. No, now he wanted to prove it wrong. Maharaja was thrilled beyond measure when he killed his first tiger. He sent for the state astrologer and showed him the dead beast. He called that astrologer who had made this prediction. He showed him the dead tiger that, see, you had predicted that I am going to be died by a tiger. Here is a tiger, I have killed it. What do you say now? He demanded. Your Majesty may kill 99 tigers in exactly the same manner, but the astrologer growled again. Right, growled means he could not speak clearly. He stopped while speaking. But what? Speak without fear. He said, there is no need to be afraid. You tell me clearly what is going to happen. But you must be very careful with the 100th tiger. So a tinge of a twist was given to this your basic prediction. The prediction remains the same. That is, death is going to come from a tiger only. It's eminent from a tiger only. But it would be the 100th tiger which is going to bring his death. Okay, children, so this far only we are going to do today because the video allows this much space only. Okay, so this is Nisha Dua again, your English teacher. You can send the queries related to the chapter that we have read so far. Okay, and anything you may ask me on my number as you have been asking. Okay, and the rest of the chapter we are going to do in our next Zoom class or in our next interactive session. Thank you, children. Thank you so much.